Hi, my name is Mackenzie Maxwell, and today I'll be giving my prose speech. The book that I'm giving my speech over today is a nonfiction book called Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I chose this book because I read it 2 weeks ago, and it is my favorite book that I've ever read in my entire life. It does teach me valuable lessons, and after I read these small 2 pieces from the book to you, I will tell you what lessons I learned, and I'm sorry if I spoil some of it. I'm not going to try to spoil much because it's an amazing book and I want you all to go read it. Again, it's Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. A little background before I read these 2 pieces. The book is mostly centered around a girl. Her name is Tate, and she is 23 years old. She is going back to school to get her master's degree, and she's a registered nurse. She works in an ER. She is going through a little gap in her life. She just moved out of her parents' house. She's trying to get her own house, but she's just transitioning, so she chooses to move in with her brother. He's a pilot, and he's older than her. He lives in, it doesn't really say, but I imagine it as a little apartment duplex building. There's several apartments inside this little building, and that's where he lives. He's gone most of the time because, like I said, he's a pilot. Well, Tate falls in love with the neighbor, who is also a pilot and who is also his brother's best friend. His name is Miles, and she falls in love with him. At the beginning of the book, Miles says, "Don't ask about my past and never expect a future." Tate loves him, so Tate agrees. She is going to do anything she can to make herself closer to him. And so she agrees. She won't ask about his future, although she wonders that all through the book. She wonders why this man will not love her back and will not allow her to love him. But she secretly loves him, so she's okay with it. I'm not going to tell you what happens because, like I said, I want you all to go read this amazing book. But a thing happened to him, a thing in his past that he feels like he'll never be able to love again. He never wants to find happiness. He wants to be alone. A terrible thing happened to him. Terrible things happen to people all the time, and a terrible thing happened to him. Well, spoiler alert, here it is. They end up falling in love at the end of the book, and there was a thing that he said that really just stuck out to me, and it's in the last couple of pages, and it just made my heart so happy. He says to Tate, "It may be a small piece at a time, but my past is yours now. All of it. Anything you want to know. I want to tell you. But only if you promise me that I can have your future." My heart just melted when I read that piece. I love this book so much because it's just a reminder to me that terrible things happen to everybody. Terrible things happen to me. Terrible things happen to you. Terrible things just happen to everybody. That's just life. But if you allow the right people around you and you allow the time that it takes to heal from them terrible things, that you can overcome. And Miles felt like his life was over. He was okay. He worked all the time. He was okay with his life just being pretty much over. He was just living. He never wanted to find love or happiness again because of this one terrible thing that happened to him. And I feel like I get like that sometimes. I let a terrible thing at the beginning of the week just ruin me, and I just let that control my whole week. I let a terrible thing that happens to me control me. And this book was just a reminder to me that terrible things happen, bad things happen to people, but if you just put yourself around the right people and you give yourself enough time to let that go, that it'll be okay. You can find happiness again. You can be happy after terrible things happen to you at the beginning of the week. You can be happy. And this book was just a reminder to me. And every time something happens and I want to have a bad rest of the week, I think about this book. It'll definitely be one that I reread, and I suggest all of you to read it. It is a really, really good book. Like I said, it is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. And I hope you all get to read it. I love the book, and I'm so glad that I got to give a speech about it. Thank you.